Hello, Nick Jones here for another episode in the Ab series. If you are enjoying this content, please like, share, subscribe to the channel below. It really supports the channel. But apart from that, pause and read the disclaimer. And all you're going to need today is your own body weight and a mat. Just to warn you, I use this as my warm-up. I do not recommend that for everyone. If you do want a full warm-up, there is one elsewhere on my channel. So feel free to go ahead and do that before we get going. Today's session is an oblique focus. We're going to do 3 moves on one side, 3 moves on the other, then 3 moves back on the first side, and then finish off. So let's get started. So we're going to start on our right hand side. Arm out to stabilize at a 90-degree angle to the body, stretch out nice and long, then try and get as much of your body weight up into the air as you can. Pause, squeeze, reach for the toes. If you're gonna, there's an option to keep your legs as straight as possible to make it harder, or you can bend the knees round towards the chest. If you're doing that option, make sure it's the knees moving in and out, not just the ankles.
Halfway there.
And that's it. To make it that bit harder, just pause, squeeze a little longer at the top. Stretch the abs out, crunch the abs in. Oblique focus. So working those muscles on the side of the abs.
10 seconds.
Okay, so rest there. Now onto your back. Right ankle to left knee. And then you're going to go left elbow to right knee. As a crunch, but you're going to lift the legs as you crunch in. Okay, so just like I'm doing there. Again, do not pull on the head. Keep that chin a little bit away from the chest to make sure you're not pulling on that neck. And then the contraction of lifting the legs up as you crunch adds to the crunch. And then we should still be working the same side as the last move. And again, to make it that bit tougher, pause, squeeze a little longer at the top. Every time I contract the abs, I contract, pause, squeeze, breathe out, fire the abs as hard as I can. And then reset.
10 seconds.
Okay, so rest there. We're going to go to our side plank next. Okay, you're going to make sure your left arm is on the floor. Either go from knees and elbow or go from ankles and elbow. Okay, and then what I was also doing is just pulsing a little bit. About 5% of the movement, okay? So I just like lightly contracting that side of my abs. So again, you should still be working the same side of your abs. Also on this one, if you feel a bit too much pressure in the elbow, make sure you're pushing down through your hand as well as the elbow. Secondly, if it is just too much pressure, go from knees and elbow. If it's still too much pressure, put your right hand on the floor to help brace the shoulder a little bit. And then still keep that little pulse going.
10 seconds.
Excellent. Okay, so finish there. Next up, we're going to go back to the start, except the other side. So now we're going to roll onto our left. So we're going to be lying on our left side. Left arm out to stabilize. Stretch the arm out above the head. Go back to that side V-sit, but on the other side this time. So 3 moves on one side of your abs, 3 moves on the other side of the abs. Nice big pause squeeze at the top. Fire up those abs. So if you notice, there's that little moment where I'm not moving at all at the top of the movement. That's what we're after. Keep the legs as straight as you can. Or bend your knees round towards your chest. But make sure you're getting a lot of that upper body off the ground as well as the lower body.
Seconds.
Okay, so finish there. Now back onto your back. We are going to go left ankle to right knee, right elbow to left knee. Okay, so your left ankle is sat on your right knee. and then you're bringing your right elbow across to your left knee, but you're going to lift the legs as you crunch. So it's a bit of a complicated one to explain, and I'm trying to give you the right and left so we're staying on the same side, so we're working the same side as we just did. Again, big pause, big squeeze at the top to make that contraction harder, but that leg lift just adds to the contraction.
Seconds.
Okay, so on the countdown we're going to finish there. Next move is going to be the side plank. So right elbow on the floor, either go from knees like I'm showing you there, or go from ankles and elbow. One tip I would give you on this one is make sure your feet and your arm are on the mat at the same time, as I started to slip during this set. Also make sure you're pushing through your hand as much as your elbow. This will take a bit of pressure off the shoulder. If you are still feeling it too much in your shoulder, go from your knees and elbow. And if you're still feeling too much pressure in the shoulder, put your left hand on the floor and then just pulse away like I'm doing. So again, it's all 3 moves on one side, all 3 moves on the other side, and then we're just going to repeat that through a second time. Okay, so back to the start. So we're going to be on our right side, right arm out at a 90-degree angle to the body, stretch all the way out nice and long, reach for the toes at the top for that side V sit. Nice and slow and controlled. It's not a race. And again, it's about slowing it right down and making sure the intensity of each contraction is as hard as possible. Once you've done these a few times, you'll be able to survive these kind of 12-minute rounds reasonably okay, but it's a case of how hard can you make it in terms of contracting those abs harder, focusing on the target muscle at hand. That's what we want to do.
Seconds.
Okay, so next up we're going to go back to that cross crunch with the leg lift. So rest there onto your back, right ankle to left knee, and then left elbow to right knee. Lifting the legs at the top, big pause, big squeeze at the top. Basically you're doing a cross crunch, and then just with that little leg lift, it just increases the intensity of the contraction. And again, try and make each rep harder than the last one. How much are your abs burning? It's not just about surviving it and looking good, it's about how much can you make your abs hurt.
Seconds.
Okay, so we're going to come up to the rest now, and we're going to go into our side plank again. Left elbow on the floor, either from elbow and ankles or elbow and knees. And we're just going to do that little side plank pulse. That's it. So this time I made sure everything was on the mat, and it meant I wasn't going to slip. So we're just going to pulse that side plank, and again remember to push through your hand as much as your elbow. That will take pressure off the shoulder. If you have too much pressure in the shoulder, drop to knees. If there's still too much pressure, put your right hand on the floor as well to take a bit of pressure off that shoulder. And then just keep it going. Every time you little plank dip, try and squeeze those muscles harder and harder.
10 seconds.
Okay, so back to the final side. So stay facing that same direction on your left side. Left arm out to stabilize, 90-degree angle to the body, then stretch out, contract. Stretch out, contract. Try and get as much of your body off the ground as you can. So if you notice, my entire upper body's coming off the floor and all my legs are. It's just my hip left on the ground. And that's it. Try and make each rep harder than the last one. Again, it's not just about surviving the round, it's about how hard can you make your abs work. It's what we call the mind-muscle connection. And only if you're getting this mind-muscle connection is the only way you will truly train your abs.
10 seconds.
Okay, so final time with the cross crunch with the leg lift. So onto your back, left ankle to right knee, right elbow to left knee.
Let's go.
So left ankle is sat on the right knee, and then you're going to crunch across, right elbow to left knee, but then just a little leg lift on the end increases the intensity of the contraction. And again, make each rep harder than the last one. Approaching the finish now, so your abs should be really feeling it. If they're not, you need to think about that mind-muscle connection and are you getting a good enough one?
Seconds.
Okay, so final move coming up is going to be that side plank to finish. We'll be on our right side, right elbow on the floor. Either go from elbow and ankles or go from elbow and knees. Okay? Remember to push down through the hand as much as you can in order to take pressure off the shoulder. Just pulse it. And just hit that little pulse. All the way to the finish is your final side, your final move. Again, too much pressure in the shoulder, drop to knees or plonk that left arm on the floor and keep the same move going. And just feel those obliques burn. All the way to the finish, and we're almost there. Then we're going to do a bit of a stretch and you're done. So that'll be a wrap there. Let's just have a bit of a stretch and we'll be done. To start with, that pencil stretch. You're going to pull yourself nice and long and thin, arms together, feet together, suck into the tummy, help stretch those abs. If you need a break at any point, pull your feet in and then relax and then put your feet back out. I sort of did move this pencil stretch around a bit to try and stretch down the obliques more, but in all honesty, the pencil stretch hits it all very well. Then what we're going to do is just a bit of a back stretch, because I always like to stretch my back out after training abs. So just one knee up and over to one side.
10 seconds.
Also just feel a bit of a stretch through the twisting muscles, so you'll feel this in the outside of the hip, a bit in the obliques maybe, and then into the twisting muscles of the back. I like to hold my stretches for at least a minute so I can feel it really relax up.
Last round.
I'm just going to switch to the other side, other knee up towards the chest, then pull it over, bit of pressure down towards the floor on that knee, and then relax the opposite shoulder back. And then the greater distance the knee is off the floor and the shoulder is off the floor is normally indicative of how tight your back is.
Halfway there.
And just remember, as always, if you are enjoying this content, please smash that like button below, subscribe to the channel, it really helps support it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And as always, thank you for watching and staying tuned to the end.